Good morning, everybody. As you all know, I talked with a few of you that I got a new role and I moved where I used to work in one of the governmental universities in New Zealand last year, and I just joined ICL. And this is where the paper started. I did work before on sustainability and innovation, but I'm taking a different angle today to discuss with you. I wrote this paper with Mr. Diego Pinto, and Mr. Diego Pinto is actually a software developer. So he's the one who is going to be taking care of all the little technical things, and I'm going to be taking care of the management side of things. And this is where it shows you collaboration. And the main point actually of the paper is to do with open innovation, to be open and to collaborate with people, whether outside your company, outside your country, outside your organization. So this is the content that of the presentation, and we'll go through all those points, but don't get alarmed, it's not going to take a lot. Okay, so let's have a look at the objective of that study. That study is actually a project that we are proposing to use the open innovation system to the government-owned organization. And what we call them in New Zealand, we call it Crown Institutes. This is how to refer to them. So what we're trying to, the company is actually called Education New Zealand. It's a very powerful and rich organization. And what we are thinking of adding another layer of gamification for their website that's called ThinkNew. So Education New Zealand, their main purpose is actually to, they are advocates, and they are, their product actually is education, offering education and advertising New Zealand as the destination to come and learn there for education. And the people whom we're targeting with that website are the age range between 15 and 35. And later on in the presentation, I'll tell you why that age range. So the Education New Zealand, their aim is to boost the engagement among the users, to promote contribution and interaction among educational institutes and partners too. So what is the approach that we're taking there is that we're proposing a semi-radical innovation. You know, there are different types of innovation. There is radical, the semi-radical. So we are choosing semi-radical. And we are targeting also the strategy of playing to win. They are a Crown Institute. They have lots of resources and accesses, and they are into the game of playing to win. And this is also to improve their competitive advantage. And we are dealing with a very, very competitive industry, which is education. So, as I mentioned to you earlier, the name of the organization is Education New Zealand. You access it on www.studyinnewzealand.com. And it's a government-owned institute. It's promoting education as a destination for international students. Most of my students in ICL, not all of them, are actually in the business school. They're international students. No Kiwis, no locals in the business school. So they are the main leaders in their industry. So the website that they have, which is called ThinkNew, this is the one that we're targeting to do this project on. They have the best content about education. And they have very reliable information. And they are concentrating on actually a lot of partners. But you will wonder, if they are that great, so why do you want to change and make them have a semi-radical change? You may wonder that. But nothing is perfect, and we're always aspiring for perfection. There are a few things that we would like to address, and we would like to improve and have innovation too. So they have low engagement level between users, platforms, and partners. The thing is that when you are talking about education, and especially international students who haven't been to New Zealand, and if I'm going to take you as an example, and Alam, when he was standing there and asking me, so are you going to offer us this? Are you going to give us this? And Wafa, are you going to give us a ticket? So you're interested, how are you going to come? So also the international students, when they want to come and learn, the first thing that the student will look at is what are the varieties of the courses that are provided. But that's not the only main interesting thing. They want to live and eat and work and move around and know about the country and sightsee, all these things. So they want to know, how is the first thing, how are they going to get a visa? Is it easy? Is it difficult? What is the living conditions? How many hours are they entitled to work? Or maybe they're not entitled to work at all. So all these questions, what we're aiming at is that it would be provided for the students in that one website. It will be precise. It will have everything they need and with very simple user way. At this stage, it's actually difficult to find the information. The users find it really unlogical to them to just surf around and look from one platform to another platform. So what are we proposing with this project is to make it easy for the students, to attract more students, and at the same time to actually help other partners and other institutes, people who would like also to offer more varieties for the students. So, as we all know, we are in the world of innovation, and everybody keeps on saying innovation, innovation, innovation. And you may ask, what is the difference between invention and innovation? Right? Okay, there are lots of inventions that happens in this world, but it never sees the light of the day. It never goes anywhere, right? And lots of people don't get use of it. So the little tiny difference is that when you are taking these inventions and these new ideas and actually transforming them into reality, commercializing them, and people start benefiting from them, that is innovation. And this is what we are talking about here. So the innovation process should be infused, what we're proposing there, with the organization value chain to drive behavior throughout the whole organization, starting from the early stages of research and development through to the other stages of assembly line, customer service, delivery, inventory, and finally, transportation. So, this study is utilizing the open innovation model to enable the organization to work with its strategic partners and users to improve the product. One of the biggest authors, Chesbrough, in 2003, mentioned about open innovation is that when organizations use them, they make the organization more spongier. And you know the quality of a sponge? It soaks all the information around it. So for an organization, it would have this capability of soaking not only all the new ideas from within the organization, but it's also from outside, from customers, other organizations. And I believe that all of us know that the customers nowadays are the biggest contributors of new ideas in innovation. Why? Because it's actually the customers who have touched their own needs. They are the ones who have issues. They have problems and they want it to be solved. And some of those customers would go around and have their own inventions, innovations, because they need it. But if we are open, we use open innovation, and we actually communicate outside the organization and stop this mindset, it hasn't been developed here, and go out and get those new ideas, incorporate them, use our research and development and commercialize them, that will be the best way of serving everybody, and it will be win-win situation. This is just a figure to show you the business model and the different options that you can have, the semi-radical, the radical, the incremental, and to show you where we're standing as an organization. And we are proposing to have the semi-radical, and you're going to know why in a minute. Okay. The semi-radical innovation approach is being used for the play-to-win strategy for ThinkNew for the following reasons. Number one, it's promoting big changes in the technological side only. So it's actually saying that we are going to change technology, not to change, enhance it, add to it from the business and also the business side. So we're not asking for changing the whole system, the whole organization. That's why it's semi-radical. The second one is also it aims to generate a high level of competitive advantage for the organization in such a competitive industry through the strategy of differentiation, providing a unique platform for the website among its competitors. So, what is the project proposal? It's creating a layer of gamification over the current website. See, it's semi-radical. We're not changing everything. We're just adding another layer. So why are we doing this? We want to encourage a new culture of innovation using new techniques and approaches. As simple as that. So what is gamification? Is everybody familiar with the word gamification? Well, here is the definition for you. Gamification is the application of digital game design techniques and mechanisms to non-game contexts, such as business, education, and social impact challenges. This is what's happening nowadays. How many people, since I took this job, I do not drive anymore. I use the train. And while I'm sitting in the train, you find all those people, their heads like that in their phone. And sometimes you wonder, are they actually doing businesses or using WhatsApp and Viber and all those, I don't know, is this considered also social media interactions between people? But it was very amazing that I found a big percentage of the people playing games. And it's not only the 15 and 35, it's also the older generation now they're doing that. And that's how they spend their time on the train. I mean, other than people who would use the computer or watch movies or things like that. So actually, gamification is spread in our lives in all sorts and all means in our everyday life. What is this project proposing, or the objective of it is that it wants to improve the engagement between the users, the company, and the partners. Those users that I mentioned to you earlier, that their age is between 15 and 35, why were they mainly targeted? And this is the type of population that's actually looking to come to New Zealand to further their education, and sometimes it's a stepping stone for staying and living in New Zealand. Most of them, 99.9%, something like that. These users have been used to computers, to technology, to playing games. So they will relate to that. And it's a smart thing in this competitive world of education that if they get to play the games while they're actually searching for whatever they want, that is an attraction to them. And there are lots of companies who are using also this technology. Also, the objective, one of the other objectives of the project is to improve the social media interaction, to make it easier and for people to interact, and those students interact with organizations and make it smoother and easier for them, and improve the process of data collecting. Remember, they need to know one spot where they would know what are the courses, what are the availabilities, how to get a visa, how many hours to work, how to find a job, how to find a house, what to do, how to search for a job, how to write a CV, all these things. So it's the process of data collection and analyzing in this competitive industry. Also, improve the current system of innovation inside the company. So, how are we proposing that? It's change completely the current platform and create a game. The main idea is to create and incorporate game techniques over the current content to reward users according to the way they are exploring the web platform. We all know about this adrenaline rush. Some of the people get it from playing sports. Some of the people get it from jumping off a cliff, bungee jumping, and some of the people get it from winning. So if while you are searching for the data you need, and you win and you score and there's rewards and all these things, it actually gives them this kind of buzz of achievement and contribution. Moreover, the website will collect data to have better understanding of the user behavior and preferences. Such information will enable the organization to cater for the requirements in future. So we are in the business of delighting our customer. It's no more customer satisfaction. It's actually delighting our customer. So how can we really delight our customer other than knowing their needs, their requirements, how to innovate and do things better by actually understanding your customers? So the business model, we call it the business canvas for this research, is actually a tool developed by Alexander Osterwalder and Yves Pigneur in 2010. There are lots of organizations who are using this model. And this model creates and delivers and captures value for the organization. It describes how a company communicates and distributes its production and profit. There are lots of worldwide known organizations who are using this model, like IBM, Ericsson, Deloitte, and I believe also the government of Canada. So this is just a figure to show you the illustration of the canvas and how it's divided into two sections. Oh. Apologies for that. Okay, what I wanted to press is this here. You see that part? This is the custom part, the right side, and the left side is to do with the organization. So if you're going to look at the customer side, it's divided into 5 sections: the customer segment, the customer relationship, the value propositions, channels, and the value stresses. And you can see it's color-coded for ease. So the yellow one is to do with the customers, that spot them out. And the green is both of them, the customer and the different channels of the organization. And this part is to do with what does the customer need, what are the requirements, how to cater for them, what to provide for them. The other one, which is to do with the organization, it's the key activities of the organization, the key partnerships and the cost structure and key resources. And this is in order to decide what is required in order to deliver for those customers, how much is it going to cost, and what kind of activities, key activities that is required and needed. So of course, it's well known that not everything in life is hunky-dory, rosy and beautiful. There are challenges, and the important thing is to know those challenges in order to to deal with them, no surprises, cater for these challenges. So one of those challenges is actually, of course, everybody is on budget. And when you're doing a project, you have to actually stick to that scope and that budget. So the key thing is how to reduce failure and waste of resources during the development process, and especially when it's to do with softwares and computing programs. There is always the customer come and tell you, I want this more, I want that more, add this, add that. And that impacts on the budget, and it impacts on the timeline, on the delivery. And this is part and parcel of any projects. The other most important one and difficult one, which is actually to do with the culture. And this is to do with people, their mentalities, their attitudes, their behavior. And that needs taking care of this is why also one of the reasons we're proposing a semi-radical innovation. Why? Because when people are used to a certain system and they've been using it for a while, it's very difficult to come and tell them we're changing everything. So the best thing is actually to start incorporating a little bit by little bit the culture of innovation and empowering employees, making them part of the process, making them understand the importance of it, what are the rewards, and how everybody's going to be benefiting. And remember, it's a win-win situation. So once you start layering that platform of innovative culture within the organization, empowerment and participation and good leadership who believes in it, and everybody working towards the same goal, that actually diminishes the danger of that challenge. So in conclusion, the Open Innovation Project that we are proposing for Education New Zealand, and more specifically of adding a layer of gamification on the ThinkNew website, has merits, as you can see. It is providing for them a competitive advantage among other competitors in the field, and also more innovative product to improve the results in the industry, a lot of happy and more engaged customers and users, a new powerful system of innovation to develop new ideas, products in a more efficient way. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Might be a semi-radical approach is more appropriate. So you start with what's there and build on it. What is the engagement coming in?
Yeah, I'll explain to you what I mean.
Is the engagement, is this like an add-in? I mean,
no.
I don't know where the engagement is in the semi-radical.
Yeah, okay, may I say? Okay, if you're doing any type of change, whether it's incremental, whether it's radical or semi-radical, the key thing is what? Change, right? Do you agree with me about the word change?
Yes.
Yeah, you need change.
Yes.
So if you are going to change with people who have got habits and they have a certain way of doing things, you need to make them part of it. Because sometimes lots of people, and you meet it in your own life, and I've met it a lot, if you come with your own idea and give it to them and tell them, what do you think of that? Because it was not them who started it, and they may not get the advantage for it, they will stand there and make it a hurdle and make it impossible and tell you no.
I agree on that.
So, but if you include them in the process of making them feel they are part of the new suggestions, they are part of the building blocks of this new change that is happening.
I completely agree on that. What I'm saying is, semi-radical approach doesn't necessarily require or indicate that it is an engagement process is included in it. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's two issues here. Semi-radical approach, which you're introducing gamification, maybe, which I think is a very brilliant idea. I started already to think, how could I make use of this? And I can think of relevance in my work and of this approach. So that is one part. But inclusion or engagement of employees, I think this is another issue. It's very right, and I agree on that. But it's not necessarily part of semi-radical approach. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, okay. What I'm trying to say, if any project has got its risks, right? And you need to be ready and look at the risks and how you are going to mitigate them. And one of the risks that we're looking for is that the culture and the employees and how they can resist change. So we're proposing to deal with this in case that happens.
So you are looking at a semi-radical approach, and in order to have this, to guarantee the success or increase the chance of success, you are suggesting engagement.
This is a reply to the challenges, and one of the main challenges that may confront the project is actually change and how people can resist change.
Because my institution is the world leader in innovation, so I have to show up something.
Of course.
But I was very surprised because I know also next door to me is Professor Gyotit, whose his textbook is the best in the world in innovation. You have incited him, so I will go and annoy him that Yeah, I was surprised.
Well,
because
if you
anytime
if you
someone-
give me the book as a gift, then I will
I will
cite him
tell
next
him.
time.
Okay, I will tell him that.
No problem.
He will definitely send it to you.
No problem.
Now, but maybe best for also because we are in terms of you said invention and innovation, and
Yeah.
the distinction is those who will actually become reality and people go and buy them, use them. So just to maybe to help here, the number of new ideas fail to reach the market. Do you know the percentage of that? How many new ideas fail to reach the market? Do you know the percentage?
Is this question familiar?
No, for the whole audience. 83% of new ideas, they don't make it to the final consumer. And that's because this will come to the issue of engagement with the consumer. And the very famous example, we use it in our teaching, is Nestle coffee. You know, the Swiss Nestle coffee. Back 15 years ago, they realized, the company, that everyone consumes Nestle coffee in Middle East, in America, in US, and they're quite popular. They said, what else? We have covered the whole world with our coffee. What else in terms of, they want more money, profit maximization. So someone came with an idea, why not we ask some engineers, chemical engineer or something, to tell us if we can actually produce coffee in a can, the same like the Coca-Cola. And unfortunately, the one who gave them that idea is a British professor from Birmingham. He said, yes, I can make coffee in a can. You know, you can make coffee in a can, but the real challenge is to make it hot. So what he did, he created something, 2 cups inside, and between them there is a chamber, and that chamber is filled with some chemical. When you click that, open the can, oxygen react with that chemical, and then you can see the coffee evaporate. The same Nestle coffee and so on, then you drink it. So how many of you have tried this before? You tried it. Do you like it?
I only tried it once, and that was a few years ago. It was
Yes.
okay.
It was okay, not delight.
There are people, especially I'm a coffee drinker. For coffee drinkers, we are very particular about the taste. We are very particular about the temperature. And sometimes it's a social thing.
That's the one. That's the one. The social thing.
It's the social
Yes.
interaction. Sitting in a cafe, talking with people.
That's it.
Engaging. It's important.
That, in terms of delight in that product and service, the important thing to make customers delight is this atmosphere of drinking coffee. And that's why you can see the coffee behind you is not going to delight you like if you go to Starbucks, because you will relax and you don't see screen in front of you. So that's why innovations and new ideas will not reach the market, because you need, do they really meet the needs of the consumer? But just to conclude in what you mentioned about change many years, 83% of all IT-related projects failed, and that's project by Manchester University. They looked into OCDs. Most of these new ideas, they failed, unfortunately. Only 17% succeed because of the same issue. The main issue is managing change. People will resist to them, not because they don't like them, because you need to engage with them. If you really want an interactive website, and I think that's what you have done here.
You see, Alan, we have in this ThinkNew, there is Steve Joyce, was the Minister of Education in New Zealand. He appointed 8 employees who worked on it. His head office is in London.
Yes.
And there's another branch in Christchurch, where there is 18 employees who are allowed to work. So it is, even though that is the most powerful Crown Institute in New Zealand, as you can tell, it's
Yes.
numbers.
Exactly. So I think that's where I think it's very important, is to engage the users. And to give you an example, unfortunately, most business schools, we are just doing this study, almost concluded. Most business schools in the UK, we have looked into all 120 in the list we have, their website does not actually, even their own administrators, they do not know what is in their website. And we have asked them about some courses, and one of the universities in the UK replied saying, have you seen this in our website? I don't know if we offer it or not. So I think it's not interactive. And to conclude, in Chicago Business School, they run an executive program in London every year, very expensive program. And when we took it as an example of how, a business school, example of how they market themselves, what Chicago Business School, they market their executive program, All of it is about the people who are going to deliver the course. You will find 2 pages about Professor X, Y, and that's what matters for an executive who want to pay £7,000 to come and stay 4 days in London. For him, it is Chicago Business School, yes, but next, who is going to teach me? Many business school, that's a very minimum, Professor Wafa Saleh. So what? You need to tell why I should come and listen to Wafa Saleh. You see what I mean? And that was an example we had in a workshop when we wanted to improve our website 3-4 years ago. Chicago Business School advertisement of their short courses was an example used in that workshop. And you can see to all universities, you will see that your website does not actually market the school. List of courses, list of staff. I'm not going to read 3 pages of a staff member to understand how I'm going to benefit from him. He's public.
You know, I want to add to this point. One of the key things is actually when we go on a website, we want to see how user-friendly, how with one click you can get the information. But it's at that stage, it's very difficult. You have layers and layers and layers, and you have to filter through this and through this and through that. Or it just tells you, please go to another website to find this bit of information. And for us as consumers, and especially even the young people, they don't have time. They want to run from one point to the other. They don't have the patience. And I think all of us are busy. So we want something sweet, snappy, precise, short, to the point. Hit one button, get all the information you need.
Do you have the result of before and after now? Not yet.
No, not yet. That's new.
That next year.
If we come to easier, you will tell us, right?
Yes.
I'm sure it will fit in any
Can I come in, please? Just one point I would like to make. Unlike Alam, I'm really kind of a layman on in this area, but there's few things inspired me to ask you a couple of questions. The first thing is, I don't know how long it takes to finish a game. Is it half an hour or what? I don't.
Depends on the age.
Yeah. So the age group between 15 and 35. It's age group between 15 and 35.
What can be a minute and give me a few seconds?
Again to finish.
Because again, once you either
You reach higher level.
Yeah.
you automatically psychologically go to the second one.
Okay, that's good.
The excitement of it. Ooh, I'm winning. Ooh, I'm going higher.
That's good. That's what was my point to her. In fact, you mentioned in the introduction that you've been traveling with train and people are already.
Yeah, they're
I can
crazy.
see at my home also.
Yeah.
They have no time. The thing is, I'm looking at the welfare side of the consumers. Welfare side. Business maximization of profit, and fair enough, all good. But the thing is, as an innovator or a company introducing for marketing it, they must look after the welfare of the consumers, those be using them. And in this case, I mean, do you think there should be a self-restraint mode on your gaming thing? Okay, you have done it for half an hour, pause, and then have some entertainment or something else, you see? I mean, then in the long run, you would find these 15 to 35 years old people would be one day 60, 65, and 70. They would realize at the end of their life, not us, because we haven't done it, but they would realize that how much time they lost on this. Was it worth or not? Thank you.
Do you want me to comment?
Yes.
It's psychological, and it differs from one person to the other. And what pleases you does not please the next person. You like to drink water, the other one would like to drink whiskey. You like to drink coffee, the other one likes to drink tea. So this is, you cannot put a figure on it, you cannot put a time on it. It's a matter of taste. And people, you cannot stop people from playing any games. But this one, at least, it's for good benefit. They are getting information, and at the end, they're rewarded by getting the information they need. And whether to study this course or that course, where to get a visa, how to get a visa, what type of studies, how to pursue it, how to get a job, how to do a CV. So it is not really a waste of time. But if somebody thinks it's a waste of time, don't go there. Try it once and walk away. That's it. But if you like it, stay.
Azam is from 9 to 35. You're not.
Yes, 15 to 35. Yes.
I'm asking about, are you going to distribute the knowledge of the gamification among people, or you are going to select or to mix the ideas and innovate people?
No.
There is
No, this is just a layer on the website. It's a layer on the website. Anybody can walk in and out. It is not, it's not. But our target is, we say our target are those people, because these are the people who are interested. I mean, if somebody is, like Dr. Mahathir was 11, he said, he walks in, he finds that, ooh, I don't want it, walks out. That's it. But if you like it, stay on and get the information you want. If you don't like it, it's a free world. You either go for whatever you want or don't. You walk in the shop. You find what you like, you stay there. You don't like it, you just walk out.
How are you going to assess the outcome of this? How are you going to assess?
Well, after it happened, of course, how many clicks Alam was showing you, how many clicks of people coming there, how successful it is. And of course, there's always feedback. And how people would, do you like it, you don't like it, is it improving, not improving, from all the how many visitors and clicks and the success of it.
Well, the
It's
Turkish
very
shop
good.
sent yesterday.
Very good question.
The
So,
Turkish guy yesterday, when we walking, he said to him, I want to try before. He said, yeah, you can try. You like, you buy. You don't like, bye-bye.
My point, right?
this is what I like, this is what I like about Turkey. And how the people are very snappy and they tell you things like that.
Sweet shop.
From assessing the number of clicks, you will assess the demand, like the number of people who's tried it. But you don't know the amount of delight, as you say. I mean,
There's always
people like
there's it's a base. This is the base. Customer survey. You have to have any website. You have to have customer survey.
Yeah, okay, I
You
finished.
have to have customer survey and rating, and we will tell you if you like it. And this is how you engage the customer with you too. I mean, what are the improvements? How do you know?
that's an important
Yes.
point.
It's a very important aspect. You need to include the customer in order to know how we, remember one of the points that I said is that you are actually also at the same time collecting information about the needs and requirements of the customers. So it should be, I envisage it to be very short and snappy because we are in a busy time, everybody's busy. Nobody has got a tedious time to spend over a minute on a survey or questionnaire. So but you need to collect information to see how to enhance it, how to improve it, and is it satisfying what the customers need? If it's not, how to make it so.